But first, I wanted to say, yes, I'm John Cleveland, host. I'm very happy to see everyone here tonight. I'm going to be talking about my Cosmala, which is a deeply powerful and important part of my life. Um, I've got right here in this bag, the history of the universe. Every story you've ever heard, any army that ever marched somehow connects onto here, either closely or less directly. And so I'll show you it here. Here's my Cosmala. Now the basic concept is that I've got a bead for each event that I've chosen. I've got just over 100 here, which is smaller than my big Cosmala, which is 270. But I've got beads here for each event that I've chosen, which is really a pretty tough choice to figure out which ones you're going to have in there. And what they do is they serve many purposes. One of them being a very nice way to learn and remember about all the things that got us here today, that gave us this wonderful life, that gave us the ability to be with family and friends and the people we love and to have meaning and purpose in our life. So the reminders of all that our ancestors and so many other things have given us are all right here in these. So what I'll do is I've given everyone a chance to take a look at it. What I'm going to cover is some of the things that it's useful for, some of the ways that it can be used, and especially how one can get one themselves. It's not at Kmart's. So with that, I will put this where it goes. I feel a lot better with this on. And we will continue. I'll share my screen. All set. Okay, so basically my Cosmala, what I wanted to show here was this is my car. It has the same story on it. And the nice thing is that you don't have to have a huge Cosmala. You can have just these 20 events that I have on my car tell the story very well. And they're a good choice. If you ever look, this is on one of the web pages I'll give a link to. You want to see which ones I've chosen when I had to pare it down to just 20 events. So let's discuss some of these in more detail. First of all, what is a Cosmala? The name is from Cos for cosmos and Mala for a string of beads. Now, I didn't come up with this idea. Other people came up with the idea, and there's lots of other names for it. The first people that I know of that came up with it were actually Catholic nuns, and it was a cosmic rosary. And it's been adapted and expanded, and there's various people who have made these and hold them dear. And as I mentioned before, it's got an event bead for every event. Here's in millions of years how far some of them are on mine. This is my big Cosmala. And here's one that's much shorter. There's only about 20 beads in this one. Again, very easy and accessible for anyone. So why? Why would I do this? First of all, for inspiration. When I think about the incredible universe that got me here, that gave us all that we enjoy in life, it fills me with gratitude. And that means that I don't want to just, forget that. I don't want that to be absent from my life. And so my Cosmala can help remind me of all of that. Another thing, it's very helpful for learning. If you want to understand the history of this earth, it's hard to get a better way than a kinesthetic, tactile way to learn and know that some of the details of our history. There's a lot of incredible details in there. And when you really love someone or something, you want to know more and more about them or it. And connection and gratitude, I've mentioned that before. It's such a powerful thing. It has so many concepts that come up again and again. I'll just touch on three in the interest of time, of several. One of them, star stuff. The incredible fact that we are made of stars. We're literally made of stars that have lived their lives fusing atoms and exploding into the universe. And the cycles of the earth, and they're all one family. I'll touch on those in just a second. And another important thing, You can tell what is important to a person by seeing two things: their calendar and their checkbook. What do they spend time on? What do they do? What do they devote their hours to? And as an activity, this is something that allows us to know and experience this wonderful world we live in. So let me touch on those again. Stardust, the idea that we are all literally stardust. It's an incredible concept. The fact that we are connected to everything in this earth. We breathe out carbon dioxide that's taken up by the plants, which then take the oxygen off of that and use the carbon to make food for us. Water cycles through our bodies and through the plants around us. We are so deeply intermeshed in this web of life that it's so hard and sad to imagine that people feel alone, but they do. And this helps remind us that we are not ever alone. And in the same way, to remind us that we are all literally one family. I'm certainly the family of my cousin, whose parent is a parent to my parent, as a sibling to my parent. And we can go back several parents to a fifth cousin or something like that. But to think that you can do the same thing, go back 10,000 parents and come back to every single human on earth, or go back several million parents to every single animal, to be able to be connected as family reminds us that when we're in the woods, we're in an immense family reunion. So just one short example of how this can be used. Here's a quick recording I made the other day of a morning greeting. I greet the morning every day.
Good morning, glorious sun. Fusing hydrogen into helium for billions of years. What am I thankful for today? The great rain. Raining water on Earth for thousands of years, giving us these clouds and insulation and so much more. For the first tentative beats of birds' wings, bringing vertebrates into the air yet again, and giving us birds from penguins to ostriches. The first human use of tools that allowed us to do so much. And feed our families. For these and so many more, I am filled with gratitude today. I hear my ancestors who made me, who live in me. Together we call to future generations in whom we will live. Today, as before, we make their world.
One of the great things about the Cosmala is how accessible it is. You can do this too. Even though you can't buy this at Walmart, it's not hard to make your own, and then it's more meaningful anyway. First, pick out your timeline of your chosen events. Get the beads you want for each event, including maybe spacer beads and things like that, and construct your Cosmala. It's that simple. Here's some timelines. A simple timeline on the left. This is one of my son's Cosmala timelines. It's easy to take these and add or subtract the ones you want, and there's a ton more at these websites down here at the bottom. You can have abstract beads that are symbolic of each event, or you can have more explicit beads that make it very, very clear what event you're commemorating. I've found a lot of different sources for beads, including finding objects that fit exactly what I mean for each one and drill a hole in it. Here's another example. You can do this in a classroom setting, helping kids learn our awesome deep time history of our universe and how we're connected to everything. Here is my son building his Cosmala for his first Cosmala.
My son was building his first Cosmala. Here's another one of my sons, Cosmala. He has chosen these beads himself and put this together. And we do this as a family rite of passage where when the child is old enough to understand and build their own Cosmala, they do so. And then we have, a whole party with friends and relatives over, and there's cards and gifts and a cake. And the highlight of the event is the child goes through and tells everyone what each bead is, all the way up through the history of our universe and how we're all connected. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. So what I also have here the spacer beads that I use, and I keep my beads in here. I've done a number of public teaching events and also classes with kids, with a large number of classes, like at a Unitarian Universalist RE class or something like that. You can see some of the bigger, nicer beads that I have in here. So it's a lot of fun. I've got the cords too and all that. I use if you're going to have a permanent one, steel cable works really well. If you're a little worried about a kid choking on it, then you can use hemp cord, which will break if there's too much stress. So I'll put this back where it goes on our wall here. Wonderful. Excellent.